Hello, I am excited to do this toe reading with you in preparation for the Dark Moon Goddess Retreat. So, in toe reading, we are paying attention to the messages of the toes. The toes are our connection point with the earth, and the toes have valuable messages to share with us. It can track significant moments in your life and indicate where some big adjustments or micro adjustments, if they're made in your life, will really make a difference. Your left foot is all about your internal self, how you are relating to yourself and the world. This is your external. So this is how you are received by, how you experience, and how others experience you out in your social circles and in the world. Then each one of the toes has a specific energy. The big toe on the left foot is your spirit path toe, and the right foot is your life path toe. Communication with self, communication with others, that's the second toe. Action is your third toe. Relationships are your fourth toe, relationship with others, relationship with self. And trust and prosperity are your fifth toes. So we're just going to move in order of your toes and see what messages your toes have to share with us. In your spirit path, you are on track, you're grounded, and if you look, this toenail is slightly looking to the future. So where are you in your spiritual path? And does it soul satisfy you? Does it soul fulfill you? What are some of the micro adjustments that you can make? And if you're not sure depending on what's coming to mind right now, a great way to help your toes communicate better with you is to gently massage this toe. You're protecting yourself because I can see these calluses on both toes, protecting yourself with these walls of protection. So what has happened to you in your spiritual path that has led you to where you are now? And are there some protective walls that you've put up that it's time to change those dynamics with? And then gently moving this toenail, I like to just rub my thumb across the nail towards the center line and just ask it. This is not about aesthetic. This is all about how energy is tracking through the toes, because you can see the energy is tracking in just a little bit of a curved way towards your little toe. Now, if this toe was slightly tracking more straight, it would open up this channel of intuition. The space between your first and second toe is the channel of intuition. So on your spirit path, trusting your intuition and then continuing to open your intuition by just inviting the energy in the spirit path toe to track more straight and to communicate with you what are the best steps for you to take right now when it comes to your spirit path. Now, everything that I just said about your spirit path is also true for your life path, and it's a little bit amplified. You've got some callousing around this toe, and so really there are some walls up protecting you. And these walls, bless ourselves, they are useful. They do help us. They do protect us. And there comes a time when they're just there out of habit. We don't actually need them anymore. So I would recommend just massaging this toe and just asking, what are these walls about? What walls are ready to come down? What walls do I want to keep in place? Are these walls made out of barbed wire and cinder brick, or are these like a chain link fence? And what is the best kind of protection for me to have for myself? This toe is tracking pretty straight, and there is a lot of blocked energy in this toe. So this toe could really just use with a nice little rub, inviting the energy to release. Salt baths would be great for you. Again, inviting that energy to release, inviting some of those walls to change form, come down, and show themselves in your awareness. When we build these protective walls, it's a mechanism of our unconscious mind to protect us. So a lot of times we're not even aware of what they are and what we think that they are protecting us from. And as you do that, you can see that it will open up this channel of leadership. The space between the second and first toe on the right foot is the channel of leadership. Next, we move on to your communication toes. Now, your communication toes have this cute little curve to them. So you need to have some space in the way that you communicate. You need to have permission to change your mind, and you are your own permission slip. Communication and expression are very important too. We can see that because these toes are as long or maybe even slightly longer than that first toe on your left foot and as long on your right foot. So being able to communicate and express in alignment with you is a non-negotiable need. Very important that you have the ability to do that. So that flexibility, the permission to change your mind, and the permission to change how you're expressing yourself, expressing how yourself verbally, in your style, in your practices. These are all ways that we express. This has to do with the throat chakra, so I'm going to recommend that you do a little exercise like this, where you're just asking your throat chakra to open up, and it's just in this little curve of your throat right here, and then around the back side of your neck in the same place, just inviting it to open up for deeper communication and expression. If you were to rub these toes just a little bit and maybe gently push in here in the middle where the biggest point of that curve is, and just invite them to move just a little bit more straight. Again, opening up your intuition and your leadership. You've got a nice nail bed on these toes, and the nail is straight pointing forward. So this is kind of old stuff. That's one of the messages that I got from your toes was there's some old stuff that's still hanging around because it's a pattern, because it's a habit. And it's actually okay, safe, encouraged, and will benefit you greatly if you release this. You've got more blocked energy on the right side, which indicates that a lot of what this is coming from is from external influences. Sometimes people say dumb things and they don't even mean to, and then we play it over and over and over again in our heads. If you're doing that, it's time to stop. And by massaging this toe and releasing some of those blocks, macro and micro traumas, that's really going to help you. You have a high connection point for your second and third toes, which means your actions and your words must be aligned. So you do want that mutability. You do want the freedom to be flexible in the way that you communicate, and your actions need to go along with that. So do what you say and say what you do. If it's time to give yourself permission to change your mind, then follow it with the action. So that's a really important clue for you and your own self relationship. Your walk and your talk need to align and work together. You, again, show a lot of mutability, a lot of flexibility in the way you take action. And with yourself, you tend to be just a little bit of a better action taker for yourself than you are maybe with others. Maybe there's some stubbornness, some digging in, or over flexibility where you're doing things, but it's not really aligned for you. And so there is just a little bit, and it's hard to tell in the picture, depending on if this toe is very flexible or very stiff, that's going to tell you kind of how that energy is running. If it's not very flexible, you might be stubborn and digging in and not doing things just because somebody recommended it to you. Or you might be so flexible that you don't always give yourself permission to do what's right for you. Your relationship toes, you are a relationship person. They are robust. They are strong. Relationships are extraordinarily important to you, both relationship with self and relationship with others. Now, our fourth and fifth toes tend to be pretty karmic toes, and this no exception here. You see how it's got this little curve that comes in and leans towards action. So in order to have a good relationship with yourself, do you feel like you need to be taking action all the time? Is there some flexibility in what that could look like? What if you just allowed yourself to be without doing, without taking action. What would that feel like? Just imagine that. And sometimes you do things, and listen, there is nothing wrong with doing things because it'll make our partners happier, because it's a good thing to do even if we don't really want to. The thing is it aligned? Does it align with you? Are you self-sacrificing? That's not aligned. Are you doing it but wishing you weren't? That's not aligned. Is the action itself not aligned? Have a look at those questions as you gently massage these fourth toes and invite them to track in a more straight way. Again, that just invites the energy to track in a more aligned way. All right, when it comes to your trust and your prosperity, these toes are looking very similar to each other. They're both looking towards the future. Again, not unusual at all. It's a very common presentation because we have been trained to look to the future because it might be better than what we have now. So I'm going to invite you to get present in that. Your experience with prosperity, there's a little bit of blocked energy, but generally speaking, your experience with prosperity is quite aligned for you. Your experience with trust with yourself. So here's a question. In what areas do you not trust yourself? When did you stop trusting yourself? And as you open up this channel of intuition by doing the work that we've talked about previously in this reading and massage this toe, which is about self-trust, you're going to have a deeper and deeper level of self-trust. Overall, your toes, like, I'm not seeing any messages that are screaming, and they need immediate attention. And a little bit of TLC for these toes, thanking them, just massaging them and asking them what they have to share with you might be a really fun, powerful, and very enlightening